So hi everybody and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 7 and in this video we want to talk about widgets and we want to create one. But before that, let's go to our overview because we start all time with our overview so we see where we are. And we talked already a little bit about this overview here, and let's start talking about this second block here. So what we have to do is get assets and references for our game. Yes, you can get this. There are different places from free marketplace or byte marketplace or your own reusable assets when you have made already projects. Then you make this game setup. We talked already about this a little bit. You say, you want to make a desktop game, mobile game, or even a different kind of console game, depends on, or a VR game, depends on kind of stuff what you do. But the setup is you are setting this up in Unreal Engine most time directly in the project settings. Game story, not every game has a game story. For example, the last one with the horror game, there was a game story. There was even a pre-story to introduce where we are in the game later, but in this new mobile game, for example, which we are going to create here in a team, there is also a kind of story, but this story is just one sentence, and the story says there are slay the 4 dragons and free the kingdom. That's it. That's more or less the story about this one, and if you do so, you are the Dragon Slayer champ or something like that. So you can see not every game has really or need a big story, depends on the game itself. So let's skip this because we are not having one. But here the start game part is very important. We are starting now the game, and what I mean with start the game is literally the player open up and start the game. There are different kinds. There's the desktop game and the mobile game. In mobile it's different than in desktop, because when a mobile player open up some mobile game, he wants not go through many main menus. He won't just open up, see a play button, press on it and play the game, because mobile players, let's say they are waiting on a bus stop and they won't just play and waste a little bit time till the bus comes, and these are around 1-2 minutes. So there is no need for a big menu and intro trailer and all this kind of stuff what you have in desktop games. For example, if you open up a desktop game, there is a intro animation or a trailer or any speech, and then you have big main menus where you click on this, load this game and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, on mobile we are skipping all this part. Like I said, in mobile the player won't open up, see a big play button and press on it, play, and overcome this 2 minutes perhaps to till the bus comes or till the delivery comes or whatever, and then he's finishing his play. So there is a big difference, and depends on the game what you are doing. You have a different widget, animated widget or not animated widget, and in this here we are making a non-animated widget because we are making a mobile game. So here we know now where we are, and let's talk about how we are doing this, how we create a widget. We know already till now how we create it. There are 2 ways. One way is you make it from scratch, which means that takes the most time, but you make it from scratch and set it up all by one. Or the second way, you just reuse what you already made. Perhaps you have already created a widget in one of your other projects, in test projects or games what you made, and you can just reuse that. And this works also with Premade from marketplace, free marketplace, or made marketplace, or byte marketplace, and all these other kinds of sources you have. So we have to discuss these 2 ways. In this video I want to talk about this Premade, and in the next video we're making from scratch a very simple one. So how does this Premade work? First of all, like I said, you get it what you have when you have already created one. For example, I have created now this with my team here, this little one, and we have created this one. It's just a prototype widget. You can see I just throw in these 2 pictures here as a prototype, this picture, then these buttons here, and a little bit coding here, and you see this is a Premade, and I say, hey, for my new project, for this one, which I just loaded up, it's just a third-person template, then I will not create it from scratch. That takes too much time. So what I'm going to do is just go to this project here, what you already created, or any other project. Go to this widget where you created it. In my case, it's on UI. I go to the menu. Here's the widget which I created it, and then you can just go here, go to the asset action. Also, first of all, right click on it, asset action, and then you have here these two options. One is export and one is migrate. Migrate is most time used if you want directly migrate it to another project. In our case, yes, I have already created this one here, right? So I have this one open. I want directly migrated here in this one. So let's do migrate here, or how, I don't know how it's spelled, pronounced, migrate. Let's call it migrate, whatever. So I go here again, asset action. Here's migrate. I click on it, and then you have here the migrate options. And what you see here are all associations, which means what I mean with association. So let's open up this one time. You can see here is a picture, right? This will be associated in this folder. Then you have here codes, for example, play sound. This will also associated in this folder, in migrate folder. And here's a big problem. If you have, for example, a link for a character, let's make a character link, player character. How we can make this fast? Character. So get player character. Get player character, something like that, and then cast to, which is my clear, is this called player character? I don't know. If this, you cast it to your player character. Let's say this is the player character. I want to only show you a big problem. So the big problem is you saw this window what I showed you with migrate before. But if you have something like this now, I make just this little reference to this character, and look what happens now with this. Let's let's save this one here. Save this one here, and let's look this asset action again. And this looks crazy, you see, and this can even look worse than this one if this asset, this character has also millions of links to other places. So what I want to show you here is all these links can blow this up, and normally you can say, okay, now I can deselect that, but that takes too much time. Instead, what you can always do, if you have something like that, you go just in your code, you find the references which are not so important. Let's say you are just interested in this one and on these three buttons here perhaps. And then you just check this free button. So this character, what I just created, you say bye, compile, and then we watch this again. Okay, save this fast, save all. And then you have this one here, asset action. You can see it looks again very small. That's good. And we can make this even smaller. For example, you can, okay, now it's already so small that you really can already click it. What I mean with click it, asset action, let me go here again. Now you can click this menus, this sound, and just say, oh, I don't need sound. So now you can say, I don't need sound. And then production, I don't know. Okay, that looks a little bit much. What is that? I'm not sure. And if you are not sure, do the same trick like before. Instead of this, you go just here. You find all that what you don't think you need, and then you kick it out. For example, this is save game. Why I need a save game? I can make it, copy it later. Now you can, for migrating, you could kick this out. And normally you don't want this kick out on your original one. So what you can also do is here just copy this one here. Let's copy it, make a duplicate here. And let's duplicate this one here like so. Yeah, I want to do it. Let's save this. Now you have just duplicated this one, and now I can kick out all what I want, not on your original one, because you don't want mess up with your original one. And then you go here and say, okay, save game. Why I need save games? Not interested, not interested. Sound, I'm not interested. Let's say you are not even interested in any code, you want just the design, then you kick all out. Then you have just the design here. And then you can here, and let's save this one as well. And here, asset action migrate, and you can see now it looks still big, but there the sound is gone. All that what you see here are just textures. You can see textures. The save game is still here. How the hell you are here? There is something here. Ah, okay. You see, why the question is now, why is the save game here? Even I kicked it out here in the thing. The problem is these references are also counted here on this side. All the variables are counted as well as references, which means what I have to do is here kick it out as well as here. Here again, I don't know what this is, and then here's still something. So now I have kicked all references out, compile, save, and you can see this one is the duplicated one, not on my original one. And then with the duplicated one, you can just go to asset action, migrate, and now you can see it's even more smaller, better. And all what you need, you can get to the other place. That's one way to make it when you have already pre-made things. And if you say, wait a minute, I was interested in the logic. Don't worry about this much. If you are interested in logic, because the original one you have not kicked out, and you say, oh, I was interested in, let's say, I wanted a save game here. Just this one works like copying. You can just select this one, Control C for copy, go to your main, Control V, and you have it here. And then you can try now this one. Okay, this one is now here complaining because I kicked here also the references on the variable side here. You can see these are all variables here. You have just recreate them. Here is the easy trick. If you have an arrow and it says this one, right click on it, and then you have only right click it right here, and then you can create variable. Careful, you can see there is one click, it not here, but when I click it a little bit down, create this variable, and then I can recreate this one here instantly. If I compile, I have still arrows about the other place, and the same thing you can do here as well. Right click, create the variable, all the things whatsoever, and instantly you have this. So this is the thing what you do when you have a pre-made something, and yeah. And then you just use this asset action. So far, I hope it's clear, because now we are going to do this. So what we do is, again, you save all this kind of stuff. I kick this out because I don't need that one. I just take this one, the original one here. Let's delete this. I don't care. And open up this one. So this one I want to migrate. So again, right click, asset action, migrate. Then you click OK. And important is here that you go to your folder. Most time it's, in my case, it's the standard document and Unreal Engine projects folder. And then you find the project name. It was here YouTube tutorial. And here, important here, it was important. I don't know if they changed it with 5, because that was important on Unreal Engine 4, that you have to go into content. So you click on content, and in content, then you say, I take this folder. So you don't click here anything, you just take this content as a folder, and that's it. That was why was this so important, because the content folder is actually our this folder here. What you see now, come on, what's going on? Okay, let's go here. This content here, the folder here, what you see here down, this one here, that is a representation of content. That is exactly this one here. What you see here is exactly that one. And that's why it's so important. And that's why it's also nice that you have to, you have to select this one. You select this, this will be migrated here. And here's another nice trick. If you have a picture or a third party thing which you won't have in Unreal Engine here, you can just open up your folder here and directly place it here. For example, I can make here, don't know, let's make a text if this works. I don't know. No, it's not working text. Too bad. But normally you can make here a text of, let's say, a picture from outside. Just put it here and it will work. All right. But in my case, I just choose this one. So I already made this one. Then I switch to this one, and you can see if you make this, then, oops, what's going on? If you make this, then you should see this here in your content, and I already highlighted it with colors. Here are the new 3 things. And here are the references for the sound, which was referenced in this widget. Then the textures and the save game, which I don't need, but whatever, you can still kick it here out as well. And the UI is not here. Very interesting. The reason why the UI is not here, because I made here already one more step. I moved this UI because that was imported migrated here to my game folder. This is the game folder which I created. So you create here your own game folder. The game folder is the more or less your development folder. And I called it UI, I called it a menu, and then here is the one which we have. And this looks a little bit different than this other thing here, right? What I showed you here. So the question is why it looks different here, because like I said, our goal is not to copy this, what we already have indeed one by one. We are just using as a template. And here in this version, let's go here, I just kick out the pictures. I rearranged, oops, sorry, this one. I just rearranged here a little bit these buttons. Let's say I want it here on the right side. You can see I just select it, put it here, and I make this black box a little bit bigger. And then you can, instead of a black box, you can put here a picture in it, a very nice picture integrated. So if you're a designer, then you can make crazy nice things about this, even if it's not animated, for example, this kind of stuff. And you can see, then you compile this one, and of course you can change also here the borders so that the buttons looks different. You can change here later the color. Let's make this color here any other color that is also not copied. Let's take green here or something like that, and so on. So you can see you can change here like you want the style, and it is different than this one. You use just this one as a template, a beginning part, and then perhaps there is also the logic implemented. So you just care about the design, which means this play button, the new game and quit button is already programmed. If you are just a designer, you would just design this one, and all this logic for these buttons is already implemented behind the scene, which would be nice, right? And that's why reusing the pre-made objects is very nice. And there's one more way, of course, what you should use, which I said before. Here in the library I showed you, you can go to the marketplace, but you can also go to the library, and in the menu you can go marketplace, library. But here's one more thing which is not shown here. I want to show you this one as well. Is there are some projects like, and this projects has already menus. You can just go to and find if you have some project. For example, with Unreal Engine 5, the Lyra projects come out, right? Lyra. And this Lyra starter game has already a main menu. It's a little bit more complicated, and it's for desktop. For example, this Lyra starter game is made for desktop. It's probably not for mobile. Too complicated. Like I said, mobile is more simplified. Desktop, it's more with more menus, more animations, and all this kind of stuff. Or you can even find other projects which has already menus. For example, this action RPG, that one I used in my game. It's okay, it's very old again, but who cares? Like I said, this one will probably not compile in all parts, but all the parts which are not compiling, you're just kicking out and replace it and to make what you need. For example, you just care about the style here. You don't care anyway about if it's compiled or not, because style stays the same. This picture will stay the same, the button stays the same, and all this kind of stuff. And then you will just add later a new start code and this kind of stuff. We are talking in the next video when we are making it from scratch. And I think that's it for this video. So let's wrap this up and say, if you already have pre-made menus, or self-made or purchased or get free or get anywhere, or you have in your team member a UI creator, that's perfect. Then use that one, because then you don't have to make it from scratch. And it is very also interesting here. You can see we are already creating our third game. It makes sense to create, for example, now a UI folder with different UIs, with different reasons why we make this there and so. and to have this available for future projects to get better with that, so to don't waste time in the future and so on. But in the next video we are going to create again this UI, which I showed you here from scratch, because it's anyway super basic, super basic. And then because this is a beginner tutorial, so that we can make, of course I don't make the design here, which I'm anyway not a designer, and the design you can make it then later perfect. Designing to make perfect takes time, and this kind of stuff I don't make here on this videos, but you have to do this on your own later, and then we will see. And all this kind of stuff what you see are anyway only prototypes, placeholders for later better versions probably. Alright, with that said, see you in the next video where we are going to create a widget from scratch and also code here these things, the start buttons, and how we get here some pictures in and how to use that and all the stuff. I probably hope that you know this already by now, because this is our third game, but still perhaps there are some new persons who want to see this or repeat this to see this again. We make a very simple and fast prototype again. So with that said, if you have any questions or any complaints like all time, write in the comment section. See you so in the next video with the widget, and like all time, have fun, never give up, and bye.